On this episode of the Massive Agent Podcast, I'm going to tell you how to turn those old leads into new clients. We'll talk specific ways, specific things you can do to revive those old leads.
The Massive Agent Podcast, with lead generation tips and strategies to get you more leads and sell more homes.
I love to buy houses. I like to sell houses.
It takes brass balls to sell real estate.
Wait a minute.
The leads are weak. You're weak.
I've had better.
Oh, have I got your attention now?
Here's your host, Dustin Brohm.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 34 of the Massive Agent Podcast. Thank you so much for listening today. My name is Dustin Brohm. I'm a realtor in Salt Lake City with eXp Realty, and I'm the founder of the Massive Agent Society. Check that out at massiveagentsociety.com if you're interested in learning how to get your own leads. If not, don't worry about it. Save the time. So I don't know about you guys, but in my CRM, I have a few thousand leads from over the last year or so, right? And you guys that have been in the business for longer, you have a crap load of leads over many years, okay? And so many of those leads, they don't pan out because usually they just don't respond to any of our communications. And I get it, okay? You have to understand, people are acting the same way that you react. Okay, whenever I get sales calls, whenever I get somebody that's I want control over everything. It's weird. I've turned into such a control freak when it comes to my time. I hate getting phone calls. I hate when somebody reaches out and says, "Hey, do you have any questions about this?" And it's weird because they're just doing their job. But my first reaction is to kind of put up that block and be like, "No, if I have questions, I'll come to you." I don't want to talk to anybody. It's weird. And I think most of us are like that these days. So you have to keep that in mind. Keep that perspective. These people, they opted in on your landing page. They clicked on your Facebook ad, or they filled out your lead capture form for a reason. Okay. People who aren't interested don't do that. Why would you click on a Facebook ad for a list of homes that have a swimming pool if you're not at least interested? Okay, I understand clicking on it, but when you actually opt in, you wouldn't do that unless you had some level of interest. So keep that in mind too. Okay, so there's the perspective of why people aren't responding to your communications. Okay, once they become a lead, you have to also remind yourself they were interested at some point to some extent. Otherwise, you would never have their information. Okay, so they are interested. Now, then the game becomes, what does it take to engage them? What does it take to get their attention? And how long is that going to take? How persistent do you need to be to get them to respond, right? So there's a lot of data out there that says the average lead responds after 7 attempts. Okay, so if you're giving up after 5 attempts, on average, you're falling short. You need to continue following up with people, and I'm talking text messages, phone calls, emails, all of it. Okay, a mix of all of it over time until they respond. Okay, so that means you need a good CRM. You need a system in place to follow up with these leads as they come in within the first 5 minutes that they come in. So I use Agentology. They're like my inside sales agents, if you will. They respond to all my leads immediately, 24/7, 365. It's not cheap, but it's definitely worth it if you're doing a lot of, if you're getting a lot of leads from different sources. So even with them, there's still a lot of leads that just don't respond. They flat out don't respond to anything. Okay, even though you have their accurate information and you can see they're opening your emails, they're just not responding. Okay, that happens. So here's what you do. Okay, and don't just ignore them. Like most agents, they're like, "Oh, those leads are dead." Okay, remember, they were interested. That's why you have their information to begin with. Uninterested people who, and everybody says they're just looking. "Oh, I'm just looking, just browsing." I say that too when it comes to, if I'm going out and looking at a car or something like that. "Oh, I'm just looking." Until, what I mean by that and what they mean by that is they don't want to be bothered until you either do something that gets their attention or they are ready to approach you. And usually they will not ever approach you. So you've got to do something to get their attention at some point. So with those old leads, let's say you have 300 leads that are between 6 months and 12 months old. Most people they're like, "Oh, they're dead leads," right? Here's what you need to do. Okay, and this is where you need a decent CRM. And most of them have this functionality, but you need to be able to send a mass text or a mass email. or both. I actually don't know of a CRM, like one of the major real estate CRMs that doesn't have that. Like even Realty Juggler, which I think is the least expensive, which is actually a great CRM for $100 a year. I used that for many years. Realty Juggler is fantastic if you're just looking for a cheap basic CRM. Even they do text messages. So you select all of those old leads. Okay, so let's say there's 300 of them. You select them all. You click on mass text and you send them a text, all of them a text that says, are you still looking to buy a house? That's it. You're still looking to buy a house. If you go much further than that, you're not going to get their attention. People feel compelled to answer that question because it's so simple and straightforward. Something else you could say in a text is, I have some availability to show homes this weekend. Are there any homes that you'd like to see? That's it. You could do the same thing in an email because I know a lot of you won't have phone numbers for leads. A lot of times we just have an email. That's fine. Do the same thing in an email. But you've got to just do it every few months. Go back to those old leads. And you can even set it up on a drip campaign to do this. So if they haven't responded after, 180 days or whatever you set it to, it sends them a text that does that. So you don't have to manually do it. But so many of us have these leads that are just sitting there. They're not on an active drip campaign. They're not being responded to. They're just sitting in your CRM, basically dead. They're on life support. So to get them back to life, to revive them, you have to just manually select them all, send them a text. You still looking to buy a house? And let them tell you if they are or not. You'd be surprised at the response you get. And even you're going to get a lot of responses that say, no, I'm not. I already bought one. I'm not moving there anymore. Whatever it is. Totally cool. Then at least and you can scrub your database a little bit. But some people will. You might dig up a few people who are like, oh yeah, you know what? Let's do it. But you never know unless you try. Now remember, you spent good money on these leads. Okay? Leads aren't cheap. You could be running the best Facebook ad ever created, and it's still going to be a 50 cents, $1, $2 a lead. Make sure that you're not just pissing that money away, and respond to these leads. And also think of your obligation to these people. Okay, even though they're making it difficult for you to serve them, you should still try. Right? I mean, they are opting in on your website. They're putting their hand up. They're saying, hey, I want information about that property. Or they're saying, hey, I want that list of foreclosure homes, which is like 3 homes. But hey, I want that list of homes under 300,000 on Salt Lake's east side. I want that list. And yes, they make it difficult for you. But remember, be persistent. Most leads don't respond until after the 7th attempt. So put a system in place to do that. Use your CRM. And the old leads, the leads that aren't on a drip campaign, that are just sitting there that you've kind of ignored, they're on life support, send them a mass text. And when I say mass, it's like, you select all 300 of them, send the same text to all of them. Just do it. And if your CRM doesn't have that, let's find you a new CRM because that's kind of important. Another thing you can do instead of just the one-off texts or emails is run a contest. Do like if you're running a contest for an Amazon gift card or an Echo Dot or like a stay at a local hotel or a parade of homes tickets or whatever it is, make sure you send a link to it or even just create an email that has all the information they need and send it to all of those old leads. Send it to every single one of them, because offering something for free that they can just enter and win, that gets a lot of people re-engaged. If it shows up in their inbox or shows up as a text, they're like, oh, that's cool. Some will unsubscribe. Some will ignore. Some will reply stop with the text, right? So you just stop texting them. But again, you're just trying to find a few people out of that giant pile of old, damn near dead leads to respond to you. Just a few people. If you get a few people every time you do it, is that worth it? Yeah, that's worth it. You could even think of specific contests you can do just for those old leads, just for people who have been a lead at some point, and maybe you do something like, a $200 stay at, some resort in town, and then includes dinner or whatever. Make it attractive. And if you don't have the money to go do that, and ideally, even if you have the money, you go get a sponsor to donate a gift, donate a night stay at whatever hotel, donate a gift certificate for dinner or whatever. So if you go partner with some of these businesses, think creatively of what you have that they want And maybe that's just exposure. Maybe that's just, you sending a bunch of people to their website all of a sudden or to their social media profiles. They might do it. It doesn't hurt to ask. If you can save yourself a few $100, do it. So, okay, this is random. The squirrel returns on this episode, on episode 34, of course. But I had somebody ask, they're like, hey, how come you don't put your podcast on, like the video of them being recorded? And like, at some point I'd like to do that. But to be totally honest, you should see me as I'm recording. Like, I look like an effing idiot. Like, my arms are flailing around. Okay. Sometimes they're flailing back behind my head. Sometimes they're flailing over to the side and in front. And I talk with my hands so much when I'm recording a podcast. I don't know why, but it's pretty damn goofy. It's pretty goofy. And so a video of that doesn't really, that doesn't really sound like a great idea to me. But I don't know, maybe having a video being recorded, maybe being on Facebook Live might help calm my hands, calm my arms, but also maybe not. And I might just look like the idiot that's trying to fly while recording a podcast. So speaking of CRMs, and just so you guys know, I use LionDesk right now, and I'm also using KV Core because as an eXp Realty agent, some of the technology that we get is a KV Core website. It's a full system. It's a full lead generation system. It's a website. It's a CRM that has a ton of functionality to it. And so I have my system that I've been using for Search Salt Lake for a few years now with my Easy Agent Pro website, with a LionDesk CRM, with Agentology as my ISAs to respond to the leads. I still have that going, but I'm also testing the KV Core system because I have it. And so KV Core is conversion, KUN version, and it's now been upgraded to KV Core. It's a very powerful platform. It has a ton of functionality. It's really good at capturing leads, actually. And if you're an eXp agent, you get this. It's just one of the technology platforms you get. So that's super cool. I'm learning it for two reasons. I want to test it because if it's better than what I'm using currently, I want to use that, right? But at the same time, I want to know how it works so that I can give support to new agents that switch over to eXp on my team. I want to be able to help them set up their KV Core system so they can start running some ads and get some leads using that system. But what's nice about KV Core is the landing pages you can create. Like if you want to do a quick list of homes that have a swimming pool, that's an ad I'm running right now. That's doing very well. You can just say, okay, here's the criteria I want. Boom, it gives you a link. Use that link in a Facebook ad and it creates a landing page. I'm getting, 8 to 10 leads a day from that right now. And I'm only spending $10 a day. So yeah, it's crazy. I've been with eXp for since May sometime, and there's a lot of things that I like. There's some things that I'm frustrated with. They're mostly growing pains because they're growing so fast and, they're trying to keep up with that growth. So I get it. None of them are bad, but they're just frustrating. But beyond that, what I think one of the things that I'm starting to love most is the KV Core platform that you get, because most agents don't have a great website and a lead gen system. So when you're just given one, an all-inclusive, all-in-one system, it's awesome. So you guys that are using KV Core or that have it and have not been using it, get on it. Start learning it. It's powerful. Okay, I'm really becoming a fan of KV Core. All right, switching gears yet again. Let's talk about something that I think is vital, something that I've personally been dealing with over the last few weeks. I'm getting to the point where I've bit off more than I can chew. I have too many different ventures going on, too many different things, and I don't have the systems in place to handle it all, or at least to handle it all well. Okay, when you're doing too many things, when you have too many plates spinning at the same time, you can't keep them all straight. You can't keep them all up. There's a great saying that I've been ignoring for far too long. The man that chases two rabbits catches none. Okay, if you're chasing two different things, it's hard to have any real success with any one thing, right? So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to figure out what can I systemize? What can I outsource? What can I cut out completely that I don't need to do so that I can focus on a few core things? Because man, when you have too much going on and you're not focused on what's actually going to produce revenue and what's actually going to lead you towards your goal, you're just wasting time. You're wasting time. And what happens is then you run the risk of burnout. Because it's stressful when you see, oh my God, I'm spinning my wheels here and I'm not really making any progress. I'm not making any real headway. That's terrible. I mean, that messes with you psychologically. It hurts your confidence. It hurts your enthusiasm about what you're doing. none of that's good. I mean, if you're focused on one singular thing and you're constantly making progress every day, that's empowering. That's exciting. That's going to keep you excited to keep going. But when you can't really see anything that, when you can't really see any tangible evidence of success or progress, it's easy to get frustrated and stressed out and pissed and, all of that stuff. So here's what I recommend, guys. Twofold. First off, taking a break is okay. Okay, with all this hustle, hashtag hustle horseshit that's going around. And it's not horseshit if you understand what they're really saying. Work your ass off, make the best use of your time, and, get to it. That's good. Okay. You should do that. I believe that. But the way some people interpret it is, oh, you should only sleep 3 hours a night and work all the time and ignore your family and, all that stuff. That's stupid. And that's going to lead to a big crash and burn at some point. All this hashtag hustle nonsense, at least when people interpret it the wrong way, it makes people think taking breaks is weak. That, taking a step back or taking a day off to just like remove yourself from business, get your mind off of your business and your transactions and your clients. That's not weak. Okay. That's actually smart. Taking care of yourself mentally is smart. And here's what happens whenever I take a few days off, or whenever I just like, sometimes I have those days, guys, where I'm just like, oh, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore for the rest of the day. And that happens at like 1 p.m. And I'm like, I'm done. The very next day, because I took my mind off of business, I'm able to hit the ground running even better with more of a focus, and I'm able to get more done, and it's a hell of a lot more effective. So I use breaks, I use unplugging as a way of actually being more productive, as reaching my goals even quicker. But now look, because not everyone's wired like Gary Vee. Gary Vee is a very unique guy. Okay. He's wired to work 18 hours a day, every frickin' day. And he loves it. Doing that energizes him. Most people aren't like that. And that's okay. I'm not like that. I have an above average work ethic, but I'm not Gary Vee. So I have to realize that for me, every once in a while, I need to just shut off my phone. I need to go think about other stuff, go spend time with the family, play with the kids. And just by getting my mind off of what I'm trying to do, once it's time to get back to work, I have a renewed focus and I'm even more effective and I get more shit done. So I use breaks as a tool to get more shit done. You should do the same thing, because I bet you are not Gary Vee either. You just have to be honest with yourself about that. It's okay to not be at Gary Vee's level, because he is a freak. Something to aspire to, but if you're not sleeping, if you're not taking breaks, you're going to burn out, you're going to have a breakdown, you're going to piss off your family, you might even, it leads to divorce. If you're pushing too hard and ignore your family, it leads to divorce, it leads to other relationships being broken or strained. Take breaks, okay? Take breaks. I just think that's super important to talk about, and it's something that I am realizing the importance of more and more. I'm to the point now where I know that it's not weakness, so I have no problem talking about it. I used to, a year or so ago, I kind of did think it was weak. Like, I got to just keep going. But then I started to realize that's actually counterproductive. Take a break, let your mind reset, so to speak, so then you can come back at it with fresh eyes, with a fresh mind, and just crush it. You're going to be much more effective and you're going to get a lot more stuff done. Okay, did you know that we do a daily flash briefing on Alexa devices? Every day, I do a flash briefing called the Massive Agent Minute, and it's 60 to 90 seconds of a thought, an idea, a strategy, a rant, something that I feel that you need to hear that day. Okay, so most people in the morning, they'll go sit down in their office and they say, hey, Alexa, play my daily briefings or play my flash briefings, and it plays whatever flash briefings you've enabled. Go check out the Massive Agent Minute. I really appreciate you subscribing. It's actually enabling. I really appreciate you enabling that. You can do it on your Alexa app or even on Amazon desktop. On Amazon desktop, just pick skills in the little drop down for categories. Type in Massive Agent Minute. Bam. Enable it. There you go. I found out, though, it's only available in the US. I'm trying to figure out how to get it available in other countries. but I'd really appreciate you enabling that. And if you like what you hear, please leave us a review. You can do that in the Alexa app. Pretty simple. Just like you can leave a review in the Apple Podcast app for maybe your favorite real estate podcast with your favorite host. There's a thought. And if you think that I'm trying to guilt you into writing a review on iTunes, you are 100% right. If you've been listening to this show for if you've heard more than 2 episodes and you haven't at least left a rating is when you just give it a number of stars. A review is when you actually write a review. If you haven't at least given us a rating, I'm a little hurt. This hurts my feelings. I'm a sensitive guy. How am I supposed to keep moving forward and keep doing shows if I know that you still haven't left us a rating? What the hell is that? In all seriousness, we appreciate reviews and ratings. They help us a lot. They help us grow our audience, which then lets us get better guests on the show and do more cool stuff down the road. And we do have some really cool stuff coming down the road. All right. And lastly, finally, in conclusion, what else is there? Oh, and one more thing, like Steve Jobs used to say. I talked for a second about eXp Realty. I am looking to bring more of you guys on board to work with me personally. If you think switching brokerages is in the cards at any point ever, I think it's worth it to take the time to go to massiveagentpodcast.com/exp, massiveagentpodcast.com/exp, and just watch the video. That's it. Okay. And if the video, then this is where I'm going to ask, I'm not afraid to ask, if you see something in the video that intrigues you, or you like what you see, and chances are you're going to have questions, hit me up. Okay, let me know. If you like what you see, I invite you to come over to eXp Realty, work with me personally, work with our team. We have a growing team. You'll get a free lifetime membership to the Massive Agent Society, our lead gen, our Facebook ad lead gen training and support system. We're also doing weekly coaching calls, and I'm always there for my people. If they have a question about something, if they need help with something in the KV Core platform, I'm there. So I invite you to come work with us and join us. You know, I'm pleasantly surprised. I wouldn't have joined if I wasn't excited about it and if I didn't think it had a ton of value and would benefit me in numerous ways. But I'm pleasantly surprised. I think it's better than I thought. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it so much. You guys that have been leaving reviews in iTunes, I can't tell you how much I enjoy reading those and how much it helps. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing that, for taking the time to leave an iTunes review. Thank you. You guys are absolutely incredible. If there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. In the meantime, go revive some old leads. Go send that mass text. Go get some clients to show houses to this weekend and go sell some more homes. Take care, guys.